Hello, you guys, back with another one. I know y'all tired of seeing my face, but you know I gotta do that self-love for you guys. I haven't did it in a while. I also wanted to show y'all some things that I've been working out. And this week we're gonna be on this book called Communication Skills and also Healthy Boundaries. We also are going to read the 4 agreements. And we also are going to read about Thorn. They call him Thorn, Thorn. And it has something to do with, we're going to read about this book here, The Power of Intuition. I also wanted to read this book. It's called Survival Skills, but survival skills is somewhat is of a spirituality as well. Okay, so let's start. We're going to read this first book, and it's called The Communication Skills of Healthy Boundaries. Okay. We are on page blow ups today. So I will be reading about blow ups today. Let me lower this down. Yeah, so I will be reading about blow ups today. So that's what we're reading about is blow ups in this book here. Okay. So let's start. So this is the 5th skill. Okay. Can you please turn that down? This is the 5th skill. It says arguments, communication. Hold on, viewers. We have here beyond blow-ups. So this topic is called beyond blow-ups. It says arguments and communication skills to get one's own needs and wants met by dismissing the other. It says the ego of communication lack and also considering for others. So it's like they're not considering for others and their feelings. It's often marked by the use of criticism, disrespect, poor listening skills, as well as interpreting, as well as unwilling to have compassion. It says here the control a person is seeking through arguments provides the opposite. They open of control. If you can relate, don't dispute. We never stop growing and changing. It's a choice that is our own power. So blow ups, because we all go through blow ups. YouTube. We all go through blow ups, and it has something to do with that here. It's like when you blow up with somebody, what's the argument and the communication look like? Is you sitting back looking at the argument and the communication? And we also, it has something to do with that as well. It says take a reflector and pause. Do we ever have arguments in communication? It says what practical of people. And so it says what practical a person with everyone. Considering the honesty without judging yourself. Okay. Identifying. It says if you identify a person or a situation when they targeting you. That's what this is about. So blow ups could be YouTube could be something else. When you blow up with somebody, you having miscommunication skills with them, and it has something to do with that here. You have to listen to that conversation first. Sometimes criticism can be real bad. You don't want to listen to, but you might have to listen to it. So this is what I'm talking about on blow ups. Okay. So let's go to the next. So that's what we was reading. I read about, and it's called blow ups. I wanted to read to you guys as well here. So I'm going to go to my intuitive book next for you guys here. This is called The Power of Intuitiveness here. Okay. And this book is called The Power of Intuitiveness. We are on intuitiveness, matter of fact. So it says here, this is how it look. Okay. It says here, YouTube, it says learning to pay attention. So when you like have intuitiveness, you should learn to pay attention. To notice and pay attention is the school days. When you were expecting to bring your mind to the task at hand. You may wish that you had time to daydream more back then. But the daydreaming has an important part in playing in life. Paying attention is important too. Believing it or not. It says a few people pay more attention to what is going on around them. Thinking about it. Do you move? It says, do you move through your day with your focus on the next step or even 15 steps ahead? It says, do you let your mind rake up past events over and over again? Does your mind fly off in all directions with your crazy thoughts leading you onto a merry-go-round? It says it can be difficult to really be here in the present. It says, and that's true though, YouTube. A lot of people are not in the present. They worried about the past or they worry about the future. They're not in the present. And it has something to do with that here. It says here, taking full notice of your example. However, intuitiveness on attractions. How each will you react in its message. Hold on. Sorry about that. I had to talk to my babies. You know how it is. But it has something to do with learning to pay attention will respond to you in many ways. For example, you will begin to notice things with a new appearance. You will see what you haven't seen before. It says you will be making connections between events that have seemed unconnected. You will start to see purposes and meaning because although you may not understand what is happening, somehow everything makes more sense. Starting to begin full awareness to every activity of the day. When you get out of bed, prepare meals. When you making a phone call or paying bills. When you're sitting into the sunlight of walking your dog. Be there fully, noticing everything, being in the moment, be living in your daily life. When you begin your focus to what you are doing in the present moment, pay attention to the details. Will more easy to identify your intuitiveness. So, when you doing daily route, look at the things that you are doing. Feel that emotion. You will identify your intuitiveness. So it's like learning to pay attention of things. And it has something to do with that here. With intuitiveness here. The next one we will be on next week. It'll be watch out for signs. So some of you guys need to watch out for signs here. And it has something to do with watching out for signs, YouTube. Okay? So that's the next one. So I'm going to be reading now to you guys. It's called Survival, Adapting and Overcoming Any Situation. So I wanted to read this book to you. It's kind of, you know, so this page is what I wanted to read to you guys here. the mindset. Okay. It's connected to your mindset here. And I want you to see this. It's connected to your mindset. And it's connected to the mindset to survive. Like when you don't have things, okay? When you don't have things and it has something to do with that. That's why it's connected to spirituality to me. Because when you don't have things and things like that, you feel, a lot of people feel agitated because they don't have nothing in the world. Like, you don't have the internet. You don't have a place to stay. You don't have food. You don't have clothes. You don't have a car. You don't have anything. Some people live outside today, and it has something to do with that here. Outside, you still can be happy even though you don't have nothing. And I wanted to teach y'all YouTube about that situation because I've been through it myself. When you don't have things in your life, you can still be happy. And what I'm talking about is the material. A lot of people say you got to have things in the material, and that's true. But to get your willpower and you don't have anything, you still can be happy. And that's what people don't understand. They so into material things in this world, and they forget about the gratitude of what they have. And then they want more things and more things and more things and more things. But they should be thanking God that they got food in their mouth. They should be thanking God that they got clothes on their back. They should be thanking God that they got a roof over their head. But they forget about those things. They so busy of the world today and the world going on today. But what I wanted to talk about is people that live outside, have nowhere to go, and they live still okay. It's got something to do with the mindset and over muscles. It says mental strength is survival. It says when I face with danger, it is not always strong with survival. It is the one who stays calm, think clearly, keep going mentally strong, as well as endurance, decision making, and emotional control when resources are limited or conditions are harsh. And what I mean is we can stay calm. We can think clearly even though situations can be really, really bad for us. And it has something to do with that. And it has something to do with mentally strong is a survival. And it has something to do with that. Resolve, understanding pressure. It says her survival situation often bring cold, hungry, and fear. It says although physical fitness helps, it is the ability of managing fear as well as frustration and also setbacks that keeps the people alive. Survival or adapting thinking, which reframe challenges within choices and keep moving forward even without a clear path. So even though you don't have a clear path, you can still move forward. People outside don't know when they go eat. People outside don't know when they got to use the bathroom. People that live outside don't know when they got anything. But they still move forward. And it has something to do with that here, YouTube. It has something to do with motivation and willpower. It says a strong mindset builds the gut. Those who survive the longest are often driven by their purpose. Let's say this again, YouTube. Those who survive the longest are often delivered by their purpose. It says here, returning with love, protecting others, providing something to themselves. Mental focus helps circumstances and energies. It says here panicking and also blockages out direction. So people and things like that, can block your direction. People and situations and energies that we be around can block our direction. It has something to do with confidence grows from small wins, as well as even by just lighting fire or also finding a shelter is a small win. People forgot about their small wins in life because they so caught up into the material world. And it has something to do with that here. It has something to do with shaping mental fitness. Training your mind just like a muscle. The mind grows stronger. And stress and explore. Mindfulness and breathing techniques. Journaling after difficult hikes and cold nights. Preparing you for a real survival event. Safety, uncomfortable situations teaches you how to cope with them when a real crisis arrives. Help you to develop calmness and clarity when it matters the most. It says beyond strengths in the wilderness, the lodge, meaning littleness. If you cannot plan, adapt, and recover, your mindset is the true survival to engage. Keep it shape. So it has something to do with keeping your mind in shape. Because even though you go through the hardest times, people that live out on the streets and people that got nowhere to go, they live through the hardest times. But it has something to do with they keep on going. And it has something to do with that. It has something to do with mental strength is a survival. Resolvement is understanding the pressures as well as motivating your willpower. And it has something to do with that, YouTube. So, we'll be on as well as I wanted to read this last bit. It has something to do with the rules of the three. And it has something to do with the keys of number 3 is the mind, which calculate how long you can survive those of safety. So in air, if you have no air, you can only take 3 minutes. It only take 3 minutes without no air. And it has something to do with that here. 3 hours without no shelter. You can go 3 hours without no shelter if it's cold. 3 days without no water. So you can go 3 days without no water. And 3 weeks without no food. So you can go 3 weeks without no food. And it has something to do with that here. We will read this piece another with engagement in decisions, sir. The risk of assistance as well as knowing things as well. Here I wanted to read to y'all, but I'll read that next week. This book is called Survival, Adapting, and Overcoming Situations, sir. Okay. So we will be on Thorn here. And I wanted to read a book about Thorn to you guys here, because I be studying gods and goddesses as well. And I study about Thorn. And it's called the Emlyn Tablets. They call them the Emlyn Tablets. You know, Thorn was a king of a priest. And, yeah, you can look him up in... you can look him up at... hold on. Hold on. Yeah, you can look him up. Okay, and his name is Thorn. And he was a king priest. And it has something to do with in Atlantic. He's from Atlanta. I mean Atlantic. Atlantic of the water. The city of Atlantic. But it has something to do with that here. And it has something to do with the Emlyn Tablets of Thorn. And Thorn is Thoth. And it has something to do with that here. He was a scriber. He ascribed all. And he wrote a lot as well. See, a lot of people need to understand. people that do spirituality and practitioners, high priestesses, as well as hierophants, as well as people that do spiritual work should be writing. They should be writing, and they supposed to be studying. They shouldn't be practicing if they do not do studies, and it has something to do with that. That's how they get the knowledge that they need for the world to know. And Thorn was a strong priest. Yeah, he was from Atlantis, and it has something to do with that here. It says the silence of the humans. This is the Amiel tablets. It says the silence of the humans sense hold the key to reveal wisdom. Those who talk a lot know little. Those who know do not speak. The greatest knowledge is to describe, for she wish, it says, for she wise exit as a eternal way. All words are mental symbols. So it has something to do with all words or material symbols. Words or material symbols. And it has something to do with that. And it has something to do with all symbols or keys to the doors that lead to the truth. It says, and often the door is not open because the key seems to be so bigger that the littlest things that are bending the door are not verbal. If we can understand that all the keys and all material symbols are manifesting, we have to manifest it. It says they are just exploring of a great law, lands of its own truth. It says the greatness, my people, and we enter to the great ships of the mastery. We're ascendants. So we are ascendants in a morning. It says we are ascending in a dark morning, blowing us. It says blowing us was the temple. So it has something to do with the temple. It says there is a real key and a lock that must be opened with the key is our intelligence, which we must understand and understand to use to research the truth. It says which only it will be resolved to us when we unlock the door of our heart. It says using the correct key for when we will have opened the nerd door, crossing to the other side. It says Maya's veil will be another decision we will have to make. It's not enough just to open that door. It says all things in all the universe moves according to the laws, and the laws that regards that the motivations of plants, solar system, galaxy, and the universe is no more improving us. It says the universe is no more as the lower of the regards of material experiences for men. It has something to do with the material world. What is above is like what is below, and what is below is as above. So below, second principle, Thorn and Mercury, Mars, not Mars. Yeah, it's in Mercury. It says the practice of correction is the tablets of the Amiel. Without, it says truly without falsehood, the most truth of what it is. First I should speak of the darkness which blinds yet is in change to the earth. Darkness and the lights are both of our nature, different only in seeing. For each arise, from the source of all. Darkness is a disease. Light is order. Darkness is transformed in light of the light. It says, this is my children. Your purpose is being transformation of darkness to light. So transformation to darkness to light. It says in the physical or those channeling. So you have to channel to be in the physical. There or the nature of anti-traveling meditation is between above and below. Above and below. Not of the physical, but not of the spiritual, but above to move above and below. There are the natures of the mind, carrying it of all will, a will of a greatness, cause and effects. So it has something to do with cause and effect. It says above and below. Man, therefore, nature lies the ruins of the spiritual self. So you have to find your spiritual self, and it has something to do with that here. It says the four qualities is shining in each of us, the planes of, but both 13 is one that seems a number. On earth the man is below and bondage by it. The man is bondage by space and time to the earth and the planets. But it says we wave of vibrations and bind him to his plane of unfortunately. Yet within man is the key to resolve them, to release them. But within man may free be found. But within man may freedom be found. When you have released it, the self from the body and rose to the outermost bondage of the earthly planet, speak yet these words. It says that when you say it just like that, you could go anywhere as if there you go. So it says using as it, so the words he said is gifted. It got something to do with being gift. It says dua la nim. Dua la lim. And it has something to do with that here. Use it as a portal of light. As shifting your frequencies to the feeling of light and meditation. It says, therefore at this time your light will be lifted freely. May yet pass the bondage of space for a time of half of the sun, 6 hours. It says, free may yet pass the bondage of earth and earthly plane, but see and know those who are beyond thee. Yet to the highest world may yet pass and see your own possible heights of unfoldment. Know all earth futures of the soul. Bonds are yet in your body, but by the power yet may be free. This is the secrets whereby bondage shall be replaned by freedom from where thee. Calm, let the mind be. A rest be the body. The conscious only of freedom from flesh. It says, sinner thou be on the goals of thou longing. It says, think over and over that thou shalt be free. It says, think over and over thou shalt will be free. Think of the world over and over thou shalt be free. It says, with the sound to the place thou long free from the bondage of flesh by the will. And this is from Thorn. Yep. It says, lie down in rest of the body, calm the mind so no thoughts will disturb thee. It says, pure must yet be in the mind and in its purpose, even only failure will come unto thee. It says that here. It says, now I give you the key, the place where my brothers lived into the darkness, but full with light of the sun, dark of the earth, but the light of the spirit, guiding from yet when my days is done. It says, leaving thee those bodies as I have taught thee, pass to the bondage of the deep hiding places, stay before the gates and their galaxy by those words, I am the light, I am the light, I am the light. In me is no darkness, free am I of the bondages of night. Open of thee the way of the 20 and the one, so I may pass the ruins of wisdom. When they reflect of thee, surely that they will command thee to open by those words of power. I am the light, I am the light, I am the light. For me as a bondage open to commit by the secrets of secrets. Yeah. Deep. Talking about deep. YouTube. It says, when if the words have been true of all heights, open for those the bondage will fall. It says, thou, I am writing keys. So it says, finish, I am writing the keys that let there be those who come after, but only to those who seek my wisdom, for only for those I am the key and the way. This is from Thorn. And Thorn was the one that made astrology and things like that. He was the scriber. You gotta study astrology. Astrology, like I was telling you, is you study about the stars. You also study about the zodiac signs and things like that as well. Thorn was a very high priestess, and he was very strong in Egypt. And it has something to do with that. This is Metha, the one that's behind me. I'm going to read about her to y'all probably next week. But it has something to do with Metha. She brings the truth always. And it has something to do with that. It has something to do with you supposed to study gods and goddesses in this world. A lot of people say they bad and things like that, but that's not true. They teach you wisdom. They teach you things that you should know, YouTube. And a lot of people have forgot about them. They forgot about who they were. And they forgot about how strong they were on earth today. Not today, but in the history. People should know them. A lot of them are saints. They are the ancestors. They are the master of ancestors. And they are masters because they have went through a lot of things that we are going through today. And they call them ascended masters. A lot of them are connected to spirit. A lot of them can teach us things. We can't teach ourselves, but they can teach us things that we don't know about. And it has something to do with that, YouTube. That's why I try to tell you about them, because we should be in reading them. And it has something to do with that because it strengthens our mind and it teaches us wisdom. Now y'all know. Yeah. I am a writer, so I'm sorry. I write a lot. Okay. You can call me a scriber as well. I write a whole bunch of things and stuff like that. Yeah, I write a lot. Okay. Has something to do with that. I do write a whole bunch. Okay. So it has something to do with that here. So it's my last one. And then I am done, YouTube. So this one is called, I think I was in the middle of this one. Yeah, I wanted to read this part to y'all. It's called, this one is about Indian people. They from India. But but it's from that. It says here in the four of agreements, I'm going to read this part first. It says, the way of each person, of course. It says, but we expect anger. Yeah, let me read right here. Every human has his or her own personal dreams. And just like the solution of dreams, it is often ruled by fear. We live to dream in hell, in our own life, in our own personal dream. The same fears of manifestations is different ways of each person, of course, but we expect anger, jealousy, hatred, envious, and other negative emotions. Our personal dreams can also be an ongoing nightmare where we suffer and live in the state of fear. We don't need to dream at night. It says we don't need to dream a nightmare. It's possibly to enjoy pleasuring dreams. All of harmony is searching for the truth, justice, and beauty. It says we are on a everlasting search for the truth because we only believe in the lies we have stored in our mind. It says we are searching for justice, but in the belief system, it says we are searching for justice because in the belief system there is no justice. We search for beauty because it doesn't matter how beautiful a person is. We don't believe that person has beauty. We keep searching and searching when everything is already within us. It says there is no truth to find. Therefore, we trust only. It says, therefore, even we turn our heads, all we see is the truth. But with the agreements and the beliefs we have stored in our mind, we have no eyes for the truth. We don't see the truth because we are blind. What blinds us are all those false beliefs we have in our mind. We have the need to be right and to make others wrong. We trust what we believe, and our beliefs set us up for stuff. It is as if we live into the middle of a fog that doesn't let us see anything our own nose. We live in a fog that is not even real. The fog is a dream, your personal dreams of life. What you believe and all the corrupts you have about what you are. All the agreements you have made with others, yourself, and even with God. Your whole mind is a fog which is called Tamuna. Your mind is a dream where 1,000 people talk at the same time and no one understands each other. This is considered of human mind, a big of Talmud, and Talmud is Titote. And with the big Talmud, you can't see what you really are. In India, they call Talmud my in India. It is a personal noticing that I am. Everything you believe about yourself and the world and all the programs that you have in your mind and all the mati. We cannot see who we truly are. We cannot see what we are not free. That is why humans resource life. To believe in a lot, it says to be living into bigness, fears and humans have. Dying is not the biggest fear we have. Our biggest fear is taking the risk to live. The risk to live and experience what we already are. Just being ourselves is the biggest fear of a human. We have lived to live our lives trying to satisfy other people and demands. We have learned to live by other people's points of views because of the fear of not being accepted. And it and not being good enough for someone else. During the process of demands, we find a imagination of what perfectness is in order to try to be good enough. We create imagination of how we should be in order to be accepted by someone. We escape and try to please the one who loves us. It says the one who loves us, like mother, like dad, the big brother, the sister, the priest, and the teacher, trying to be good enough for them. We create imagination to be perfect, but we cannot fit this imagination. We create this imagination, but the imagination is not real. We are never going to be perfect for this point of view. Never. Not being perfect, we reject ourselves and the level of self-rejection, depending upon the effectiveness of adults, where is breaking or injuring. After domination is no longer about being good enough for everyone else. We are not good enough for ourselves because we don't fit with our own imagination and perfectness. We cannot forgive ourselves for not being what we wish to be or worldly we believe we shall be. We can't forgive ourselves not being we can't forgive ourselves not being perfect. We know we are not what we believe we supposed to be, and so we feel false, dishonorable. We try to hide ourselves and we pretend to be what we are not. The result is that we wear a social mask, keeping others from noticing this. We are so afraid that everyone else will notice that we are not what we pretend to be. We judge others according to our imaginations of perfectness as well, and nurturing the fall short of our expectations. We honor ourselves just to please other people, and we even do it physical body just to accept others. Wow. This is the Four Agreements. This is a deep book to read. I'm talking about it. Open your mind, YouTube. And that's why I wanted to read a little bit to y'all today. So, there was some books I wanted to read to y'all today. Thank y'all for coming on my channel, YouTube. I love you guys. Bye-bye.